So I'm there and I'm like asking questions and I'm trying to be as supportive as possible. And the guy,
the
the
doctor,
dude, the man who spent probably like $200,000 on medical school,
right.
who's been doing this forever.
Okay.
Looked the same, very like manicured nails, like very like, I felt immediately at ease. I hope you did as well.
He's a plastic surgeon. I think he has his stuff together. Yeah.
But he's like describing what he's going to do to you. And I'm like, yo, I'll kick your ass. Welcome to Playing House, a podcast about keeping your relationship sexy and secure. I'm Kolter Bouchard.
And I'm Dominique Bouchard. And we are a real couple having real conversations, inviting you in as our third
Season, episode 2.
Hey.
What up?
Look
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I worked really hard. And, there were times I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
On today's episode, learning how to fight fair.
Ass.
Managing ass? We're talking about ass today?
Yes.
I'm looking at that dress. Don't cover yourself.
Keep going.
Managing emotions in the heat of the moment, and even in the moments where you want to bawl out, listen here, white man, you and your forefathers have given me and my people more than enough trouble. What you're not about to do is continue this generational trauma in this house. Giving me peace is an act of resistance, a step towards reparations and reconciliation.
No, you don't clap. You don't snap for that. You don't snap for that. But first, let's check in. How you doing? Season 3, episode 2? Season 3, episode 2.
Look at us.
I'm really excited because next week I'm going to have my procedure done.
Yeah.
So at this point, when you're all watching this, Kolter would have already had his procedure.
Well, why, let's just suspend disbelief, right?
I'm just saying. So,
you go to TikTok and you're like, man, his hair is under a hat all the time. Well, I guess that's how we keep the myth alive, right?
Exactly. So I mentioned in our what was the episode? In our episode about insecurities, that I too would be having a procedure done. So when I was pregnant, I had diastasis recti. I believe that's how you pronounce that. I guess it's after I was pregnant. So what happens is your abs separate from the amount of pressure happening inside. And so your abs kind of rip apart and then your guts kind of hang out from that space. And it's incredibly painful and it creates a lot of back pain.
Maybe if Jesus was a feminist, he'd make pregnancy a little bit easier.
It wasn't the pregnancy that was hard. It was the pregnancy was hard, but it was like after all of that. And, they talk about snapback and all that type of culture. Not everybody snaps back. Some people's muscles quite literally cannot snap back to their place because while your abs are supposed to do this, mine are like, so that's why I constantly have what they call it a mom pooch or whatever the hell. And I hate that stuff. No, I hate like mommy makeover and stuff. Like it just really undermines and trivializes the real pain, the real discomfort.
Even calling it a tummy tuck, we have to have the alliteration. We got to make it sound cute.
Exactly.
Call it like we're ripping out, we're slicing you open like a fish.
Oh my.
Then we're gonna sew you back together.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna close you up, and then maybe suck a little fat out of you. Maybe
there you go.
Maybe we'll take some of the excess skin away.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I ended up doing, so after pregnancy, I went to a pelvic physiotherapist to help, get what?
You got finger blasted and you billed it to insurance.
Okay, while I was pregnant, she was teaching me how to do reverse Kegels, which, yes, includes her inserting a finger and teaching me to breathe and loosen up in preparation of pregnancy, which didn't, it helped at the time because I was able to, release a lot of tension. Are we going to do this again where you keep Googling? Go ahead. We're going to have an adult conversation about this? Okay. So that's what happened while I was pregnant. And then after pregnancy, I had to do the opposite, which was Kegels and get that strength back, that mind, body, muscle connection. So that helped in that I had a 4-finger or 5-finger separation. So that's how wide my ab muscles were. Now we're down to this much, which is thank you. Which is it's still there and it's still creating issues in that I can't first of all, I'm a whole different size in terms of if I want to wear high-waisted pants.
Mom jeans.
You see
Obama jeans.
Obama jeans.
He famously wore mom jeans.
Hey.
So you can take it back.
Okay. So what I'm going to have done is I'm going to try to pronounce this properly. Abdominoplasty?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, basically they're going to tighten my ab muscles again, which is not something that I can do 1,000 crunches a day to repair. It's just like my guts are hanging out of my tummy at this point. So they're going to put it all back in place, sew it together, repair that ab muscle. And I'm like, well, while you're in there, like, can you grab a hose and suck out some fat? Like,
grab a hose.
Like, vacuum. I don't know what you got to do, but while you're there, like, turn me over and do your thing.
So we're going back to the
what? Where are we going?
Back to the pelvic physiotherapist.
Whatever needs to happen, just make sure I wake up happy. So that's what they're about to do. So I'm having that done next week, and I'm really, really excited. The recovery's probably going to look like, what did they say, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got 2 parts to this. So number one, I go with Dominique because you want support, and also like,
it's our money.
I'm paying for the damn thing.
We are paying. Correct. As I mentioned before.
You don't need to get that done. So I'm there and I'm like asking questions and I'm trying to be as supportive as possible. And the guy,
the
the
doctor,
dude, the man who spent probably like $200,000 on medical school, who's been doing this forever, who looked like Jim Balsillie, the actor who played Jim Balsillie in the Blackberry movie. It'll be good for
seen that.
Peter knows what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Peter and I saw it in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Looked the same, very like manicured nails, like very like I felt immediately at ease. I hope you did as well.
He's a plastic surgeon. I think he has his stuff together. Yeah.
But he's like describing what he's gonna do to you, and I'm like, yo, I'll kick your ass. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go in and we're gonna make an incision here and do this and this, and I'm like, don't
and he's like
baby.
Pulling stuff from behind and like tightening up, and I'm just there like, yes, and you're there like, oh my god.
Yes, doc. It was funny. You said like he's a plastic surgeon. Of course, he had it together. There have to be like slobs in plastic surgery, right?
Well, there's like, when you get your nails done, the person doing your nails probably has some jacked up nails because they're so focused on everybody else's. Well, so I guess.
And the chemicals and stuff.
That too. Hopefully they're wearing like gloves, but.
But this guy, well, I would assume so. I interviewed a surgeon for a project that I'm doing for a client, and manicured nails as well. Maybe it's a surgeon thing.
Yeah, I feel like you can't have disgusting long chip up nails when you're going into
they were like
people's
buff.
bodies.
They were nice. I was like, oh, who are you going to see? I need to go get my nails done like this guy. That was nice.
I love that for surgeons because you know what? All doctors should have the time and money to take care of themselves. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I felt that I hope you felt that he's too.
Yeah.
He had like a really calm, no jokes out of this guy.
I loved that.
And I tried.
Oh, of course. You tried?
I got him to chuckle, a chortle.
A
chortle, but that was
if
it.
You will.
So I'm excited for you, and
Thank
I hope
you.
that, because I think in that environment, that may be seen by some as like a guy taking his girl in because like, oh, I need you to like fix it. Ain't nothing to fix. Number one.
Thank you. I don't agree. I think that like there is like a physical ailment that exercise and nutrition will not repair. And it's about time that like we normalize, especially life after pregnancy or just like with age when certain things are not working the way that they should be, that like it should be normalized that a person is able to fix that with
and I agree.
Medical assistance.
When I say there's nothing to fix,
no, I
mean like you don't look a certain way or you do look a certain way. Like that's like, I even feel like me saying this feels like creepy and like gross, but I want you to have this because this is something you have wanted for a while. And I was going to say have the space on a credit card to make it happen. And this is going to greatly contribute to your quality of life, I think.
I
hope you feel confident and I hope you feel good about yourself.
Thank you.
You were talking a moment ago about the recovery time. And I asked the doc, I also wanted like some feminist points. I was like, so like, obviously I'm going to do all the chores and stuff, but like, should I motivate Dominique to like, walk a couple of times a day? And he's like,
do some
yes.
Dishes.
She's like, arch her back a little bit.
Oh my God.
I didn't ask how long it would be until we could do that.
I don't know. I assume that's part of the recovery time.
See if we can get some instruments out of a sponsor, if you know what I mean.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, you've had to wait 6 weeks before.
Yeah, because your vagina bacteria might have killed me. So.
Is that what they said?
I mean, just like I had no immune system when I had cancer.
I was referring to when I had a C-section to birth our child.
And also, like, you had a C-section.
Yeah.
That area was left, listen, intact. Let me just say.
Let's stop while you're behind, please.
Do you want to talk about the cost of it? Because if we're talking about, like, the stigma around it.
It's important to me that I talk about this experience, not because I want to promote changing your body in any way, but I do want to promote taking the steps necessary for you, for yourself. And so, like I mentioned before, the first thing I did was see a pelvic physiotherapist, try to fix it naturally, working with my family doctor, working with my personal trainer, did a lot of, changing my nutrition and like working on my core and doing a lot of that work first. And then when I, did the best that I could, which has come down to a two finger separation. Why is that? Why does that make you giggle? Like, I'm just showing you that it's 2 fingers, and that's how wide the gap is now.
Speaking of nails.
Don't show my nails, by the way. I need to get them done.
I just blur them.
Yeah, please.
I edit this, Kolter. Don't blur the nails. But it might be funny if you do it for a second.
So I did try to do everything within my power to get it fixed naturally, and quite like vulnerably. I am often uncomfortable. Wearing this dress, this is a huge deal for me because it's literally a see-through dress. So I find myself like sitting like this.
Don't stop doing that. I like seeing your belly button. I think that's sexy.
I hate seeing my belly
honestly, stop crossing yourself.
This actually makes me feel so much more comfortable because I feel very much like on the line right now. Like I'm putting myself out there, and I put this on. I chose to wear this. I made the decision. And I think that that's a big part of what season 3 is going to be all about. Like just like owning our stuff. And this is our first full season where we are working for ourselves. And so that's really cool. But yeah, it's important for me to share that this decision, to normalize it, that like after you give birth, these are not things people talk about. That like your body shifts in ways that you have no idea. I had no idea that diastasis recti or ab separation was a thing. I had no idea that like, for some women, yes, it bounces right back. But for other women, like only surgery can help. For some women, they don't need the surgery. Like I had no idea what to expect. So whatever it is for you, like feel empowered to make your decision is what I'm getting at. So I don't remember 20K. Okay. I said that really naturally, like whatever, 20K.
Canadian. So like 15 grand US.
Yeah.
And that also included, so you're getting an abdominoplasty.
Is that how you think it's pronounced? Yeah.
And then you're also getting something
posterior
done up to your back area.
Posterior liposuction. I'm gonna unbig my back, basically.
Unbig your back.
Unbig my back.
It's small back season.
Oh yeah, that's what we're after.
Just in time. Maybe that's a bad choice. Just in time for winter.
That's a perfect time because I can also
cold.
When I'm.
You're gonna be like me, freezing all the time.
When I'm fully recovered after the surgery and I get back in the gym, because I actually enjoy the gym. It's not just like I'm trying to reach this body. We're like, yeah, that's a benefit of it all. But like I enjoy I enjoy being in the gym. I enjoy like pushing my body in those ways. So like by next summer, and it's skin out season again, we're gonna be all caught up in all the right places. There'll be no fat left except for the places I want it, So I'm excited. And again, I am not encouraging other people to do it. I'm hoping that my story or my being transparent with it is empowering you to like make decisions for yourself and not for the internet or not for people who are looking at you.
Putting the C in season 3. It physically hurt not saying that earlier.
C.
The C, like SEE. Skin out that dress. I'm hoping to get it too. God damn.
How are you doing?
Ooh, buddy. Percolating over here. Bubbling. Simmering. I got like the Kubrick stare right now. How am I doing? I'm doing well.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, doing well. You and I need a vacation.
Yeah.
Desperately. I also I don't want to do winter in anywhere in Canada this year.
Does Istanbul not count as a vacation?
No, it's a work trip.
I mean, yeah, but like we shot
medical tourism,
We also shot a podcast episode there, so like we very much worked.
Yeah, 100%. And like shout out to Este Nove. And we're not contractually obligated at this point to give
But
them any
shout
more
out.
mentions. But like, yeah, shout out to them. No, straight up. Like,
No,
I feel
absolutely.
very grateful for that. That was a really, it's just like a really cool experience from start to finish. And I want a week with you, with like no cameras, with no, like, I love what we do. I love the business we run. I love that we have the opportunity. I feel very, very #blessed, #grateful for that. And not blessed in like a Jesus-y way.
Okay.
I'm a heathen, but
blessed in a Jesus-y way.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But like, we went to Grenada a year and a half ago, and I need to get away with you.
Need that again.
I need that bad. A week somewhere fun. I want to take a camera, but to like take pictures and stuff, like a film camera, you know?
Why do you always say film like that?
Because
Like,
your whole
so
family says it
annoying,
like that. It's funny. Just like to go and enjoy myself. That I need that so bad. But what's a vacation? 10 grand?
I thought you meant like what counts as a vacation, because like some would say
Minimum
that
7
going to
days.
Istanbul can count as like a mini vacation. Like it's still travel. It's still like you experiencing another culture. You're still like getting some R&R.
Here's what I want. I mean, they're gonna chisel my head open.
I mean, before and after that.
Yeah. Well, the before part. Maybe the before part. Okay, here's dream vacation real quick before we get into the episode. Business class flight.
That counts as a vacation. Without that, you are not vacationing.
Flown business a couple of times for actual business, and it's like, it's so much. I can't go back to economy. And the flight to Istanbul's economy. And like, listen, I sound like a total douchebag.
Yes.
But it's like, it's just, dude, a whole new world.
Yay.
The front of the plane. You get your own bathroom. It smells much better. I'm going to stop singing there.
Thank you.
So a business class flight somewhere. I don't want to be on the plane for any more than like 4 hours. I want to go somewhere like hot. I want to do some exploring.
It sounds like you want to go to the Caribbean.
I mean, like, sure, the Caribbean's great.
Like.
But I want to I don't want to just sit on a beach all week.
Well, where else is 4 hours away?
I don't know. The Florida Panhandle?
Like a southern state?
No, I want to
go to the Caribbean.
I mean, listen, if the state of Florida is going to pay for it. Florida tourism or whatever. Disney World. But that's also like, that's with Nia. That's not a vacation. That's not a
So again,
that's
I need to hear your standard for a vacation, because to me, Disney World is a whole vacation.
Listen, I wish I had the kind of money. I see some of these creators out here. I see them. They got a nanny for the trip. They got the Disney experience where like you've got your own like Disney person with you.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
What?
So it's actually pretty rare that Disney is going to pay you to visit Disney World.
Oh, I'm not saying like them paying us to go.
Oh, okay.
I mean like the people who can afford, like creators, not rich folks. People who can afford to like do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Front of the line, all like it's
you
like
can be on a part of the parade.
Oh, I don't want that.
And they'll just like wave at you, and like because you're rich, you get to wave at children.
I'm gonna boo those people. If you're not in a costume and I can tell that you're rich, I'm gonna boo you.
Just going down whatever lane,
Disney
like Mickey
Road
Mouse
or
lane,
whatever.
in a Rolls Royce.
Boo! Pay your goddamn taxes. So let's get into the episode, shall we?
Let's. Okay, so in this episode, we are talking about fighting fair. I prefer to call it Who's Calling Our Phone? No, that's the next episode. We're going to have to cut that.
No, leave it in. Kolter, leave it in.
So yes, in this episode, we are talking about fighting fair. We're going to start off with talking about some of the unfair tactics people can use while fighting.
Did you want to just scour your personal memories, open your journal, you know?
So I actually write notes. I don't know if you knew that, but that monitor over there has show notes that'll help us through the episode.
I don't know about you, but I like to be funny sometimes.
Oh.
When are you going to start?
I was going to say, can't wait for it. Okay, so some examples of unfair fighting tactics. Stonewalling. That is actually my famous calling card.
I prefer to call it icing me out.
Same thing.
But yeah, where it's just, may I do a dramatic...
No. Go ahead.
Dramatization of it?
Please.
Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. Stop asking me. It's a Kolter. I told you it's fine. It's fine. Just please stop asking me.
So I would categorize that as gaslighting.
Yeah. I think they go hand in hand, though.
So I see stonewalling as no. Don't come near me. Don't ask me no questions. Don't even look to engage with me right now. No.
Don't even think about engaging.
Don't even
think.
Especially don't think about engaging. Absolutely not. That to me is stonewalling.
Yeah.
Like, I've put up a barrier. Don't cross it right now.
You've cut access.
There you go.
No access. Fairy's close today.
You have a third one?
No.
You're going to think of it as soon as I start
No.
speaking. Right? Name calling or insults. We don't do that
No.
anymore.
You did that?
I used to. So I never.
Oh, when you call me like stupid and a
Yeah.
jackass? Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah. So like
Didn't
it
like
was
that.
you who taught me that could be like really hurtful.
Could be or was.
Yes, it was.
It's mean.
Yeah, absolutely. So like growing up in my house, like calling each other names was absolutely normal. Rarely do you call people by their real name in my family.
Yeah, can we talk
Like,
about some of the nicknames in
No.
your family another time?
No, we cannot.
Pig and cricket.
There's
and
no pig. I was
half.
cricket. I was cricket because I was scrawny with long legs. Okay. Bringing up old issues. I think we're both infamous for that.
Which also means that you don't resolve things if you're still bringing them up. If there's
Yeah.
still resentment there, if there's still residual feelings, like clearly that has not been addressed.
Absolutely.
You know, and there can be patterns and stuff like, hey, this keeps happening over and over again, and you say that you are not going to do it anymore and you keep doing it. Like, I think that's perhaps fair game. But if something's been, because that's double jeopardy. If something's been resolved and then you're in trouble for it again, like,
But then has it actually been resolved if it's being brought up?
I guess there's a difference. If you're bringing up the same instance over and over again,
Okay.
that's bad. If there's a pattern, that's like committing the same crime a second time. Yeah.
Right. Or maybe you just weren't honest the first time and you said you were getting over it and closing it, but truly there's still some resentment.
Yeah. Gaslighting. We don't do that. That's us gaslighting you.
Gaslighting. So just like you said before, just like
Oh, I didn't.
not being
I'll stop.
not being honest, trying to diminish the other person's experience to convince them that what they're experiencing is not actually what's happening.
I'd say I'm a better gaslighter than you.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers.
No. You want to talk about your gaslighting tactics?
Maybe that could just be season 4.
Okay.
Like an entire 20 episodes.
Yeah, like a master
That's it,
class.
yeah.
Is that what you would like?
Yeah, that's Patreon, baby. Or Masterclass, that website, yeah. I'll do YouTube ads and it's like 400 hours of education.
Oh my God. Okay, blaming instead of discussing solutions. I will absolutely admit that Kolter does in fact do that. Okay, yes, I do. It's often more important to me that I get all of my feelings on the table and I'm heard and I'm right rather than necessarily having a discussion or hearing you out and finding a solution.
I said this the other day. First off, the only thing you should be putting on the table is your body. I said the other day that sometimes it feels like I have to, we're in like a pitch meeting and I've got to pitch you a bunch of solutions. And you're like, things are bad about whatever particular thing. And then I'm like, okay, well, we could do this and this and this.
Hate it.
Well, things are bad. I'm like, okay, but like we could get excited and do this and this and this. No, Kolter. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, can you? So I called you out the other night. I'm like, no, I need you to like be excited about a resolution here and like maybe not pitch me something, but just suggest something. Because you've said this forever. You go, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. Absolutely.
So bring me a solution once in a while.
Once in a while?
Yeah. I mean, like every time would be great, but baby steps. Little baby steps. Speaking of which, passive aggression.
Exactly. I'm so happy you did that segue.
Acting.
Right. We are both masters of the art of
We're
passive
co-hosting that
aggression.
class.
Yes, absolutely. We can hold a grudge and avoid acknowledging it for quite some time. And we once had a fight that lasted maybe over a week, where we were both just able to avoid speaking to each other, acknowledging each other, able to walk past each other. And I'd say that this was much earlier on in our relationship, like first, second year of marriage.
On Dubai. Yeah.
We were able to go damn near 2 weeks without even acknowledging the only person we lived with, because we didn't have a kid at that point. Much harder now, because, you know, that would mean having to be 100% with the full time.
Couldn't be me.
You gotta give it at some point and ask for help.
I love you, and I'm sorry for like whatever.
I did it.
But
I was wrong.
Can you take her, please? This is a lot.
I was wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
Getting past that is difficult. And listen, still get the old twinge once in a while. I'm like, oh God, I could just like be a total martyr here. That'd be the best.
Okay, so that's also one of your tactics for fighting dirty.
So we're gonna get to that later in the episode, because we have show notes and stuff like that. Like we have a schedule.
Do we?
We do. We carefully plan these out. And
do we?
Yeah.
Tell me about your process. Let's pause for a second. Passive aggression. Okay.
If you want to fight fair, you need mental clarity. You need, sometimes these fights last a long time.
Stamina.
You need stamina, increased endurance.
Ooh, patience.
Alaska rhodiola.
Here's another thing you can do instead of fighting. Leave him. Fix your life. Tap into the good stuff. Alaska rhodiola.
It's a family-owned, woman-owned company. The documentary, I filmed a documentary with them as well. It's just like such sweet, kind, amazing people. And we were able to like capture the whole process of rhodiola from like, it's a 5-year process. I wasn't there for 5 years, but talking to farmers, like I have walked in fields where the rhodiola is grown. I've seen every step of this, and I'm really excited.
You've seen it being bottled, and like the woman who like puts it in the bottle, in the box, and ships it to you. Like,
shout out
this
Marcy.
It's a locally operated small family business that is shipping across the world, and it's really cool to see.
And they've had over 50,000 sales so far.
Shout out and they're a new company too, aren't they?
A couple years old.
Hey,
just absolutely smashing it. Started by a medical doctor, Dr. Petra Illig, and you should go there right now. akroseroot.com. Use promo code PLAY15. Play for playing house. 15 for 15% off at checkout. You're saving some money. Bit of that goes to us, supports the show. But most importantly, you're supporting yourself. akroseroot.com. Play 15 at checkout.
Leave him. So when we talk about some of the ways that we fought dirty, I mentioned like stonewalling.
Yeah.
It's kind of my calling card. And we've spoken about this in previous episodes about how our couples therapist was teaching us about attachment styles, and that mine is very much avoidant. Thank you. And I think that goes hand in hand with the fact that won't lock into my memory is crazy. Like, I remember the definition, I just don't remember the name. The fact that I'm more apt to...
You'll cut anybody off.
Yeah.
Does not matter. Oh my God. Yeah. Immediately cut off.
Y'all, ask my dad. Listen, I will lock you off. I will lock you off at the first sign of...
Where do you think that comes from?
Again, ask
her
my dad. But the fact that, like, if we get in a fight, I feel disrespected, my immediate response is stonewalling you, like separating myself from you. You've spoken to me over time about the fact that it feels very personal. It feels like I'm removing myself from you as a way to punish you.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a level of that, but I believe that my the fact that that's my instinct is because I'm trying to give myself space. I'm trying to... The opposite of that would be blowing up in that moment. And sometimes I just need that space to, get my grounding, breathe a little bit, like diffuse a little bit before I can engage.
Sometimes there's the avoidant blow up combo, which is I don't see her for a couple hours, and then all of a sudden I'm getting yelled at. I'm
a bit of a, I have many skills. I'm a multitasker. But yeah,
all right, Liam Neeson in Taken. I have many skills. It's like a 15-year-old reference, but It's a pretty famous movie.
Shout out to anyone who got that. Let's talk about your ways of fighting dirty.
Just becoming a total martyr. I mentioned that a moment ago.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Well, if you'd listen more. Oh my God. Me being in martyr mode means that I am going to go out of my way to show you how unaffected I am by this. And I'm super unburdened by all of this, and I can actually take on more responsibilities around the house.
I find it interesting that that's how you interpret that.
Okay. How do you interpret it? How do you receive it? What is your truth? Tell me your truth.
How I interpret that
Yeah.
is not how unburdened you are, but just how willing you are to be burdened to
Make a point.
yes.
Yeah.
Just like, well, I love you so much, Dominique, and you're treating me this badly that look how much I will carry for you.
Yeah.
I will literally break my back to avoid hurting you. But look how you can treat me.
Some may call it martyrdom. Others may call it a study in contrast. So
Who are some?
me,
Right.
I don't even do that. I'm not that delusional.
Okay, the gaslighting again,
Wish
eh?
I was. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not good. Like it's an incredible waste of energy for the martyr. But I think that also speaks to emotional immaturity. Like if that's my only move, I'm not working through something productively. The expectation is that you're going to go, oh my God, I've hurt you so much. Please. Be
Right.
Which, God, that's nice sometimes.
Yeah, but that's not my that's not my mode of operating.
But it would be lovely if it was. If you were like, come here, baby boy, we're good.
No, because
Hey,
see,
come pipe me down upstairs.
But again, if I'm stonewalling you, and that's my immediate reaction, and then you turn around and go, well, I'll handle all of this.
You're like,
oh,
perfect.
Bet.
And then I get even more pissed off when I see that you're like just chilling, and I'm like, no, you're supposed to be upset.
So
you're supposed to be mad.
It's the cycle.
You're supposed to be the one who feels bad, and I'm like doing the dishes and making dinner and picking up what are we doing here?
Okay, let's talk about some of the reasons why these types of fights
triggers
happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
There's a trigger. Mine is, I do this to myself a lot. It's when I assume that you're going to be mad at me for something.
Like you have that fight in your head on your own.
And I think that part of that is projection of the fact that I don't think I'm like holding my weight around the house, or I'm not listening, or I feel guilty about something. And instead of fixing my behavior, I think it's easier to just guard myself for a fight that I assume is going to happen.
To get defensive in advance.
95% of the time it does not happen. But the defensiveness, 100% of the time, always, it is just there. And so that's something that I got to work on. And I think that is symptomatic of the fact that I need to stand up for myself more.
Okay.
If I think that I'm in the right about something, I need to stand up for myself. And if you're going to be in a bad mood, it's not you being in a bad mood, you being pissed off at me does not automatically mean that I'm in the wrong about something. Not that it's a matter of who's in the right, who's in the wrong, but I also need to be cognizant, and we all need to be cognizant of how we're teaching our partners to treat us. And so if I'm always just ceding ground, that I'm like, whatever, it's just I want to avoid a fight, it's fine.
Right.
You're going to subconsciously or consciously weaponize that.
Oh, even better, weaponize that. Yeah. And by better, I mean like better word choice.
You're like, yes, I should start doing that a little bit more. And then another thing, when you are avoidant, when you don't give me as much access to you,
right.
I feel alone. I feel scared. I feel the threat that you're going to leave me. That's not healthy. It's unhealthy for me to think that.
Because your attachment style is...
I need constant reassurance. I'm anxious.
What's that one called?
I'm an anxious guy.
Attachment?
Yeah.
Is it called that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I need constant reassurance. I'm emotionally draining. But also, if I just got the goddamn reassurance in the first place, I wouldn't have to be emotionally draining like this. You could just say, I love you, and you're the best. And I'd be like, that's all I need. A hug and a tug,
But if my attachment style is avoidance, then my it's not my immediate
set an alarm
response to run around declaring my love, which is like something I definitely am working on, that I just need to be more
open with that.
Yeah.
It's okay. It doesn't make you a little sissy.
I'm just a thug. It's just
absolutely not. What are you reading? The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo?
This is quite good.
Oh, for like a year now. Good for you. Yeah.
It takes me very long.
Yeah. Lovely.
But yeah.
Just like, it's nice to hear. I need that. I'm a narcissist. I need that. What do you do in those moments? What are some of the techniques you employ to calm yourself down? Like, I've got exercise, and I'll get into that more in a sec, but like, what do you do?
Can I talk about some of my triggers first?
Sure.
I think in the same way that you said that you can't even remember the reference I was gonna make, but it's very much in line with what you were saying about like you immediately jump to defending yourself because you're assuming that there's going to be a fight. Very similarly, I jump into defensiveness because I am almost projecting, like if I get any inkling of disrespect, whether that's like I'm feeling like I'm being silenced, I feel like I'm being like overlooked or not prioritized on the same level, my projection is he doesn't put me on the same pedestal. He doesn't think I'm smart enough, he doesn't think I'm funny enough, he doesn't think I'm enough. And that's what like immediately triggers, then I'll just stonewall him, then I'll just take care of myself. And that's, you know, that comes from a lot of childhood traumas of like not feeling like I'm worth parents' time, for example, older siblings' time, that I like as the youngest of 4 girls, and like there's a huge age gap between me and my siblings. I think growing up I always felt like the burden because like when I came around, that's when the money started running out. When I came around, that's when dad left. When I came around, like that's when things went downhill. And so it's hard not to feel like
you're responsible for
the cause of all of that.
Yeah, and that you always need to like fend for yourself.
Exactly.
You don't need to fend for yourself. Like you've got a partner and you've had a partner for a while. And so then that gets frustrating for me where I'm like, you're not even willing sometimes to like communicate about this, to talk about this. I'm not your dad.
Well, God, no.
I'm your daddy, but I'm not your dad. And I have never threatened to leave you. I have never, that's not to say that I haven't employed many toxic behaviors.
Sure.
But I'm not that guy, right? You and I get to set the terms of our own relationship. You and I get to say what we like and what we don't like. We don't have to have the same relationships that are, and this is a general statement. You do not have to have the same relationship as your parents did. Maybe you want that same relationship, and because it's a healthy, positive one. I certainly, I mean, my parents have been together for 40 years. They have a wildly healthy relationship. But there are still things about their relationship that I'm like, that's just not for, it works for them, it's just not for me, right?
Sure, there's no like judgment necessarily.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in line with what you're saying about, you know, setting the terms for your own relationship, some of the tactics that I employ when I'm trying to calm down, as much as like stonewalling is also a defense, I think it's also a matter of I can come in really hot.
Yeah.
I'm known for.
Oh, you're starting at a 10.
Okay, like
I'll start it at a 3 and ramp it up. You're like, no, why waste time?
Why? Let's get to the confrontation. I also think confrontation can be a good tool. Like I think avoiding confrontation is often avoiding the solution. Like sometimes you got to go through the mud, but like sometimes you got to go.
But saying that was great. That was fine. That's not.
Let me cook.
Also, use your cough button.
Am I coughing?
You're like clearing your throat. Use it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Any other grievances you want to?
Yeah, you're too clothed.
See-through dress.
I don't like
okay.
this.
You're too clothed is wild. Sometimes you got to go through the mud.
I get it.
And get dirty in order to come out, you know, on the dry side of things. I don't know. My analogy was jacked up, but
even
you
when
get
you're
what I'm
going
saying.
through the mud, you can still like wear PPE, right? You can still make sure you got gloves on and goggles, and you can like we acknowledge that you're going through a dirty situation, but also like let's make sure we're doing this safely and protecting ourselves.
Well, that's what the episode is about. This
is the PPE, metaphorically, I guess.
Yes, we're talking about now we're getting into like the tactics. Like what are some of the protective equipment you can put on while you're in a fight? Because like fights are gonna happen, yes, but they don't have to be disrespectful. They don't have to be dirty. So like I was saying, as much as stonewalling for me is like a defense mechanism, it's also a matter of like giving myself that space to think, to calm down, to bring it down from 10, so that when I'm approaching you, I'm at least under a 5. You know what I mean? And sometimes that makes
are you under a 5? You under an 11? Who?
Sometimes that does take time.
Yeah,
absolutely. So
I meant like in terms of physical attractiveness.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. So yeah, taking that time. I mentioned this in a previous episode that like fighting naked,
yeah.
Fighting naked, you get like it really does make you recognize just how silly some of the fights and some of the situations are. Like, and like you mentioned before, you get into Sometimes there's resentment. There's unclosed arguments from the past that you never truly got past, and that it keeps coming up. And it's like, okay, let's just like put it all on the table. Let's put all of our clothing on the floor and let's have this conversation. Like, get it all out there. And then you recognize, especially when you look at your partner and he's fully naked, and it's like,
you're gonna say fine as hell.
Well, period. And he's fine as hell.
Thank you.
And he's naked.
Thank you for the reassurance. Look at this. We stand a learning queen.
There you go.
A self-improving queen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But fighting naked, as ridiculous as it sounds, can help an argument end a lot faster.
Yeah. 100%. I like to exercise. And when I say exercise, maybe that is something the right word for it. I like to exhaust myself.
Okay.
So that could be going to the gym if I've got time. That can be like, I haven't mowed the lawn in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to do that. I need to physically exert myself. It can also be like, I have a lot of things I need to knock off my to-do list. So I just need to be alone for a bit and like do something very tedious. Like I had to, this is going to sound so nerdy, and it is nerdy. I had to fix a bunch of the Ethernet, the Cat 6 cabling in our house, because a couple of them weren't running properly. And so I spent a couple hours last week. I had my shout out Klein tools. This is not an ad. I will take some money. I'm like making new Ethernet cables. I'm testing it. So that made me feel good afterwards. And I was so like,
glad.
I have, I can like be calm now. This is
busy
good.
yourself.
Busy myself. But like if I can physically exert myself, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the Vyvanse help with that?
The Vyvanse absolutely helps with that. I can focus, and I can get a lot of stuff done emotionally, physically, with the Vyvanse. It's good because I don't have 1,000 thoughts at the same time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, I do, but I'm processing them one at a time. So the Vyvanse really helps.
Good.
Speak to your doctor.
Not because we're telling you to, but if you're interested in, then you make the choice for yourself.
Find out if Vyvanse is right for you.
Oh, God, no. Okay, let's get into effective communication tactics. Because like once you've busied yourself, taken some time to breathe, perhaps you're getting ready to fight naked, what have you.
The belt's coming off, and I'm not getting beaten with it. That's nice.
So when you do finally get into that discussion, it does not have to be dirty. It does not have to be disrespectful. There doesn't have to be the list of things that we mentioned off the top of this discussion. Some tactics that you can use.
Speak to your own experience. You cannot speak to you don't know what the other person's experiencing. You only know what you are experiencing. And just because you are experiencing it does not necessarily mean that you know what that person was attempting to do, right? The difference between impact and intent. I can say, I'm upset right now. Like, let's say a perfect case scenario where we're talking about our emotions and we're doing it in a healthy way. We are having this conversation. I'm saying, hey, something was done, or even like you did something, but earlier today, this happened. This is how I experienced it. These are my emotions.
So using I statements.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot factually say, you did this, you tried to do this, you liked when you did this, and that hurt me, but you did it to hurt me. Like, I have no idea. I say that all the time when we have conversations, naked or clothed. I will say, this is how I experienced it. I don't know what and also I have to like give the benefit of the doubt. I have to assume that you have my best interests at heart, because why wouldn't you? You're my wife.
That the person was not intentionally looking to hurt you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When I learned that,
I go, he was ineptitude, probably.
Oh my goodness. When I learned that in in school during anger management, because they put me in anger management back in elementary school, the counselor, she's like, Dominique, try to use I statements. And I think it was like this girl in class pushed, like she bumped into me and my cupcake fell. Okay, we had a bake sale at school. I love cupcakes, even then.
Sure.
And in my mind, she was jealous of my cupcake, and she bumped into me and everything fell. So now she wants to fight. So like, Dom, why don't you try using I statements and say what you experienced versus what you think she did to you? And I said, well, I know that you
will be dead by my hand. Why did you get sent to anger management? Do you want to talk about that real quick?
There was a lot. There was so much.
November's coming up.
What's November? The election in the States?
No, what do you wear on your breast?
No, we're not going into all that. Listen, people have been trying me all my life. All my life I had to fight. But when they sent me to anger management the first time, It was because there was a lot going on at home, and they could see that it was manifesting. I was like becoming a very angry child who was having trouble with authority and just like having trouble focus. And so that was like the first time I went. The second time I went is because I got in a big fight in the school, but like reasonably so, because dude had some things to say about my mom. And then I had a fresh perm at the time. This is like grade 7. Okay,
I don't want to mess with that.
Had a fresh perm. He decided to throw a cookie into my hair. Okay, so you've
what
now invited me to lay hands, and which I did, and I prayed on him very hard, in Jesus' name.
Like PREYED?
And then, the cops said, if you go to anger management.
The cops?
If you go to anger management. So I said, fine, I'll go back. But we're, therapy, anger management, all those types of counseling, they are miracle workers.
I will. When you get sent back to jail, I don't know if
there's
like
back. What 7th grader? What?
There's like a 3rd strike rule in Ontario, where like you do it again, and I will not wait for you if you go to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Good, as you should. Behave yourself.
Just get someone to call you and say Dom's in jail. Agreeing on ground rules.
And then following the ground rules. You can agree on ground rules all you want. I need some follow through, bro.
Boy, I'll give you some space to vent. You need it. Go ahead.
Sometimes when we fight, we end up fighting about the fight, and it is counterproductive.
Just if you fought better, you wouldn't have to fight.
Case in point, right there. So sometimes we end up saying things, perhaps, with a mocking, sarcastic tone. And it invalidates my feelings and makes you sound like an asshole.
Oh.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly that tone.
But I matched your tone. Let's recognize that.
Starting at a 10?
No, because see what we're not about to do. Let me explain this to you real quick. What we're not about to do is go on Beyonce's internet and try to make me look crazy and gaslight me into looking like the angry black woman on the relationship.
No such thing as an angry black woman. That is a myth.
We're not allowed
by the
to
mainstream
have
media. You are allowed to
a
be
range
angry.
of emotions, and now you're going to speak over me.
Yes.
Well, now that you heard the ways that you can avoid fighting dirty, hopefully it works for you.
Or you could just do the opposite and weaponize this entire episode. That's also a thing you can do.
You heard some good tips. I'm not going to lie about that.
I try to give the benefit of the doubt. I'd like to get the benefit of the doubt sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That's my one line.
I'm sure you would. Yeah.
Can you give us one line from that whole? Can you one rule of thumb for people?
My number one ground rule for not fighting dirty: being given space to be heard, to communicate and be thoroughly heard, not for the purpose of responding, but for the purpose of listening and understanding.
So is that something that you're in control of? Because when I say give the benefit of the doubt, you can do that.
Yeah.
The way you phrased it, and maybe I'm misunderstanding, is expect that the other person's going to do this for you.
Sorry, when you say give the benefit of the doubt.
I'm saying if you are watching this, listening to this and going,
mm-hmm.
I'm looking for, and I assume if you're listening to this episode, you are,
mm-hmm.
something you can do with your partner is give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that they give it to you. Because you're not in control of what the other person's going to do.
Absolutely. It can be applied. It should be applied both ways.
Okay.
That listen for the sake of understanding, not for the sake of responding.
Yeah.
And give your partner that respect and anticipate that respect of your partner.
Love that so much. All right, let's get into pillow talk. This is the part of the show where we've talked about this in previous episodes. It's not necessarily more intimate. It's just a little more
sexy,
a little more horny.
A little sexier, a little bit more secure, a little bit more playing,
a little bit more house.
Okay, you want me to ask or do you want to ask?
I'd love you to. No, you know what? I'd like to ask.
Okay.
I'd like to ask this one. Today's pillow talk question: how can we make our foreplay more exciting and varied? What do you think? What do you want?
You know what we've never done? We've done it once.
Okay.
But I think you hated it. But I'd like to try it again.
All right.
A little bit of role play.
I can never fully commit is the problem.
You can't.
Yeah.
And then you just end up feeling silly. But I think part of the silliness is is part of the vulnerability. So going out to dinner, you go alone. dress up, maybe even like reserve a table under a different
Yeah.
name. Like, I'm Sasha Charles today.
Okay.
And I go to
Not a very hot name. I'm gonna be
I don't know.
honest.
I came up with something. And then get a table, like get a drink at the bar, act like you're waiting on somebody, and then your partner comes up and he goes, "Hey, is the seat taken?" And then you introduce yourselves. I'm Sasha. Hey, you're
Steven.
Oh God, that's even less sex.
I'm Stevenson.
Is that a last name? Are you like
I'm Stevenson.
okay?
No, that's
Stevenson.
just
Is that like okay?
I'm Steven's son. My name is also Steven.
Why are you introducing? And then you say, "Please leave, sir. The seat is taken."
And then you try to pay with your credit card, and they think it's stolen because they're like, "No, you said your name was Steven
Stevenson,
Junior,
Steven's
right?
son.
That's
Yes.
Steven's son."
But I think like that's kind of hot.
See, that's why I can't do
Yeah,
it.
this never mind.
No, I'll give it a shot. Well, I will absolutely give this a shot.
I just think that could be like,
Hot?
yeah, that
Okay.
could be fun, and especially like when you get into a point where like you're so stuck in like the day to day and like everything becomes like clockwork
Right.
with your day. It's fun to add just a little bit of like the unexpected.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you? What is a way we can make our foreplay more exciting?
Spontaneity. Take
How do you-
initiative.
Like what?
That is for you to work into your schedule.
Okay.
You know that I am ready and willing to go right now.
But the question is about foreplay.
Yeah, the foreplay can be like teasing me throughout the day
Okay.
with follow through. The foreplay can be like, sending me some. Listen, we have a WhatsApp group chat. The two of us group chat. It's between the two of us.
Message.
It's called nastiness. You could contribute to nastiness once in a while. That'd be like, listen, that'd be lovely.
Okay.
That's the follow through from you, and I will follow through on. I will commit to the bit. I need you to commit to the bit.
So sending each other dirty content.
It could be like links to stuff. It
Like
could
content. So it could be videos, it could be pictures, it could be
be a website that sells things.
sure.
You
Okay.
know, a recipe
A recipe.
for sex.
Okay.
All right, let's get to mailbox before we get out of here for today.
Okay. So if you want to send us your listener question, you can go to playinghousepod.com.
Hey, Dom, when Kolter had cancer, how did you do it? Like, how did you handle stuff? Like being a caregiver, content creator, and mom all while going through that.
Yeah, it sounds like me having cancer was real tough on you, so I'm just here to listen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's not often I'm given the space to talk about
go
that
ahead, please.
traumatic experience and physically, emotionally.
Follow this woman.
No, but obviously, like when your partner has any sort of like frightening health situation or what have you, like it's scary. Like it does feel like it feels weird to even talk about it, especially with you like right beside me, because
You experienced it as well, and just in a different way.
But it feels very selfish to make that situation about me in any way. So when the question is, how did I deal with stuff? I didn't. I guess I didn't make it about me at all. We had a newborn. We did not know if you were gonna make it. Like even talking to my therapist, the techniques I was given was to make it day to day, to survive, and mentally survive is what I mean. And to detach if necessary. Like, and that might sound messed up because you shouldn't have to detach from reality. But in moments of trauma, like sometimes you do just need to like be able to dive into something else to busy your mind, because your mind and body connection can't happen that moment because you might just break down.
Like compartmentalizing.
Yeah. Exactly. So like something that we agreed on was like, when your brain is ready to process this, it will. But your brain is protecting you right now and is focusing on all the things that it needs to. So like we had like 4 or 5 clients for our agency at the time. I had a full-time job. I was breastfeeding Nia. And those were things that I needed to do because my brain needed to focus on anything else. And now we're in a time when my brain can process those things. And that's what therapy is able to be focused on instead.
And also little treats
What?
throughout the day. Just make sure you have good snacks.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to therapy. Like, she taught me to create a care box for myself. So she's like, get some of your favorite chocolates, get a notebook, like get things that like when you need to escape to go into your box and like treat yourself. Like just know that have this little thing to make yourself excited. And I ended up giving it to you actually, and I decorated with like a collage of like
There were panties in it.
and my panties. I
They
think
were
I sprayed
clean though.
I sprayed like perfume on them to have it in the hospital when you were there for like a couple of weeks. So yeah, I hope you weren't actually looking for like a step-by-step what to do, because if anyone says to you, here's what you can do to get through this, I think that they'd be lying. Everybody's just got to do what their brain can handle in that moment.
Oh yeah, brother.
Oh, no.
Pound it. Learn how to use a cough button properly, maybe. Follow this woman on Instagram at dom.creates, at dom.no.creates. Just at dom. I make this awkward every week.
You do. Follow this man at Kolter Talks across the internet to get your fix on funny dad content, funny husband content, funny and fine man content. We will be back every Monday. If you miss us, you can go check us out on Patreon and on our website to see more of us.
Playinghousepod.com/shop. That's what the internet was made for. Buying merchandise and supporting the show. By supporting the show, a mug, a t-shirt. We got some great stuff on there.
See you next week, Monday.
Bye. I love you.